just making sure that the little things are taken care of, like getting our cleats in the dirt and just playing.
What we have to do is make sure that we got our cleats in the ground before the ball snapped. I think that's the key to the game, and make sure that
just get our cleats in the ground, execute calls, the urgency of communicating and getting lined up.
Yeah, you got to get your cleats in the ground and you got to go play.
Oh my God, we should leave it at that.
Okay.
We should close with that. That is the mind blower of mind blowers.
Good.
Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me?
Yes,
all right.
Mean! Woo! My God! Gene!
Hey, it's us against the world, fellas. Yep. It's us against the world, fellas. Don't nobody believe in us. Yep. Don't nobody believe in us. We don't need nobody to believe in us. I don't believe in you. I believe in you. I know you a dog. I know you a dog. I know we some dogs, man. Hey, all this preparation we put in, all this been talking about. Hey, it's time to go release pain, man. It's time to go put in real. Let's go. Tennessee on 2, 1, 2, Tennessee. Ball, Tennessee, ready. Ball, Tennessee, ready. Ball, Tennessee, ready.
Make the decision. You're either a Vol or you're not, through thick and thin.
But you know what? Let's talk a little Vols. That is not me trying to take any shine away from the phenomenal channel Talkin VAWLS, and my guy Boogie Bentley runs. So shout out to them. But let's talk a little Vols here.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. The boys are back together. Are the boys back? Have the boys ever even been together? Right. Have the boys? I don't think they've ever been together. I think the Wednesday night crew has actually been the Wednesday night crew once, and we're a third of the way through the season. So we'll just patch this thing up. We'll be like Josh Heupel. Nobody cares if X had a baby. Nobody cares. They don't put an asterisk beside it and say Talkin VAWLS Live went live without X because he had a baby. Nope, we just have to push forward, put one foot in front of the other. But come on in, pull up a chair, grab a beverage, crack open a cold Coors Light, whatever you may be partaking in tonight. Smash the thumbs up, share out the link. Let somebody know we're live, whether you do that on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on MySpace, on TikTok, on Snapchat. Call up your uncle. Call up Uncle Fred and say, hey, Fred, have you ever heard of Talkin VAWLS? If you haven't, get over there right now. They're live talking about this Mississippi State game. We would appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up, share it out. And then drop those door fees, man. If you feel so obliged, we would appreciate the support. A door fee is a super chat. It's a tip in the tip jar, and we are grateful for that. It is a big one this week, boys. Tennessee looking for that first conference win of the season against Mississippi State on Saturday afternoon/evening in Starkville. Originally favored by 13.5. Me and Coach Jay kind of speculating on that. That line has dropped all the way down to 7.5. You got the reunion between Josh Heupel and Jeff Lebby. The Vols won 8 out of the last 10 matchups, but, Coach, feels like a big one coming up on Saturday. Feels like a big one for Heupel and this 2025 football team.
Yeah, you got to win on the road, right? Like you just do. There's been some things that we've had to get over on the road. Period. Right? Like I know Georgia's one thing, right? But you can go back multiple occasions and find these slip up games, and there seems to be a common theme in them when you go back to. I mean, we can all think back to Nico running out of bounds too, but a lot contributed into that in the second half, right? Our defense got flat out ran over in the last 2 minutes of that game. Like we lost gap integrity. We just totally crapped the bed in something we were dominant in that Arkansas game. That can't happen. Our pass rush has to affect Blake Sharp in this game. And we got to get to him early, man. We got to dial it up early and often, and we got to create pressure and take it to them, man. We're the bigger, stronger, faster, more physical team, and we need to play like it come Saturday.
Scoops, do you buy into this narrative that Josh Heupel is always going to drop a game on the road that he shouldn't drop? And when we do that, we talk about this. Arkansas last year, right? Missouri, although I've been yelled at, crucified, cussed at, spit at for saying that Missouri game. I hate to keep reminding people Tennessee was a favorite in that game. And then, of course, what happened to South Carolina the year prior to that. Do you buy into that Josh Heupel struggles on the road?
I don't buy into it, but I mean, I think it's a perfect opportunity to kind of kill that narrative. Even though you are 1-3 in your last 4 road games, you're going on the road to Mississippi State. Obviously going into a hell of a road game environment, first sellout in since 2018 there. So that place is going to be rocking. But that also tells me that Vol Nation is also going on the road. They're going to try to carry Neyland Stadium on the road. So we'll see what happens here come Saturday. But for Josh Heupel and this Tennessee football program, going on the road, getting a win like this, even though it is Mississippi State, this is a very good Mississippi State program that is better than they have been in years past. They have an offense. They have the history, with Lebby and Heupel. They run an identical system. It'd be interesting to see how effective these offenses are with both defenses going against these offenses in practice pretty much every day. But, I mean, this is a chance for Tennessee to get a win on the road and kind of stamp into this season to kind of use some momentum for the rest of the year.
Daughter, how we feeling? Big game in Starkville on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys have said, it's a chance for Hype to kind of kill that narrative, to get out in front. I mean, here's the thing, though. You go on the road in this conference week in and week out. I don't care where you go. It's going to be a tough game. But Mississippi State's got some momentum. They're 4-0. And they're rocking and rolling. Granted, they have not really played a whole lot of stiff competition. So we will see. I think Josh Heupel has this locker room under control. It's a different type attitude. These guys, it's business-like. They're bought in. It's not about individual stuff. You hear stuff from like the running back group. Those guys are just as happy to see the other one score. They'll get theirs in time. But it's one of those things. It's gonna be a tough game. But I think that the gauntlet of the SEC for Mississippi State coming up after this game makes it that much more critical for them. They've got a tough schedule coming up, so they're definitely not looking past it. I don't think we are either, because, like I said, this team has a different type attitude.
Let me quickly this is going to take 2 seconds. I'm going to catch up with the chat. Brian Turner dropped a 5 spot. We appreciate you, Brian. Says door feed GBO. Let's silence those cowbells and win. We got 166 people watching live. Brian, you let 165 people sneak in. You're the only one that dropped the door fee, but we are grateful for you, Brian, for paying the front man, paying the dude at the door. You paid your $5, and we appreciate you, Brian. We've also got to take care of a little business because we're on a membership drive. I said last Wednesday on the live stream, I said if you guys get 35 new members on this channel, whether you gift them or if you don't have a Power T beside your name, you join the channel, we're going to give away a free shirt. You guys got there. You guys did it. You guys got 35 new members on this channel. Tatholta won the free shirt from last Wednesday. So Tatholta, hit me up on Facebook, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up somewhere. and we will get that free shirt sent out to you. But guess what? The membership drive continues. We're going to do it again tonight. 35 new members. You can gift them. If you don't have a power team beside your name, hit the join button. 35. We're going to keep track of them if we get there. We'll give away another free shirt next Wednesday. See if I yell at people. Scoops, you're smirking down there. If you yell at people, they start dropping door fees. Luke Thompson dropped his $2 super chat. He says, I apologize, Boogie. Here is my door fee. Thank you, Luke. We appreciate you. Sean Cross is here for 5, says hi. Should I share my dream from last night? I don't think so, Sean. I think you need to keep all your dreams to yourself. Poor Kaner. Man, he didn't know what to do from Sean Cross's super chat on Monday morning. But we do appreciate you, Sean, and thank you for the super chat. Ian Bickett for 5 says, what's up, Boogie, Coach Dauber, and Scoops? Can't wait for Saturday. Tennessee wins 41-30. Shout out, Ian. We appreciate you. We're going to get to the predictions on the back half of the show. Noah's also doing my work for me. 60 likes. 160 viewers. Hit that like button, fellas. That is quick, free, and easy. I want to come back. We're going to talk about Mississippi State on the back half of the show, but the narrative, the SEC Road Woes, that's the title of the video. That's the title of the stream. That's the narrative that's out there that a lot of people are talking about. So let's talk about scheduling. Let's talk about going on the road in the SEC, and then we'll come back to Josh Heupel. But let's start with this. Let's start with the annual opponents. And Scoops, we kind of speculated on this. Everybody pretty much said it was going to be Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Alabama. And I talked about this morning in a video. You know, Alabama's the 3rd Saturday in October. And even though we all have our rivalries that maybe mean a little bit more to us, you know, a lot of people my age, Dauber's age, Coach's age, it's Florida because Steve Spurrier was the hump that Phil Fulmer couldn't get over. We owned Alabama, man. When we were coming up, I know you don't know what that feels like, Scoops. We owned Alabama. Mm-hmm. But the third Saturday in October is still something special. I talked about General Nealon this morning saying you never know what a football player is until he plays against Alabama. But then Kentucky and Vanderbilt, man, oldest dating back to the 1893, 1892 for Kentucky and Vanderbilt. So no surprise here, but what do you think about the 3 annual rivals?
I mean, you know, Tennessee for their fair share, a lot of people, they look at that, they see Alabama, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt, but how many other teams every single year were playing Florida, Georgia, Bama, year after year after year that Tennessee was having to do, you know, on an annual basis, man. Like, you know, Tennessee went to bat. I think, you know, Alabama, Kentucky, Vanderbilt was like the most likely things. You want to protect the border rival, you're in state, obviously the 3rd Saturday in October. And there was some, you know, throw around there trying to maybe throw Florida or South Carolina as one of Tennessee's opponents. But I think Danny White and co and the athletic department kind of went to bat. You know, there was some lobbying from Kentucky wanting Tennessee, some lobbying from Vanderbilt wanting Tennessee. So it works out for Tennessee to get Kentucky and Vanderbilt as an annual opponent and then also have Alabama there in the mix. And we found out last night, man, like even though you have those 3 annual opponents, man, it's not going to look pretty in this format. I mean, 10-2 and you're in. And like 9-3 is going to be like, I feel like the new standard for this college football playoff model. Because in my opinion, the SEC went ahead with this to kind of go ahead and be like, okay, we're confident that this playoff is probably going to expand some more. So, I mean, the competition, you're kind of getting rid of those out of conference games, man. And you're going to have to play the best of the best every year, every other year in the conference. But I mean, we're going to see, you know, the strength of schedule and how much they value it going forward, because even though you have your annual opponents, man, you're playing everyone in the conference, you know, every other year. So you're going to play everybody.
Do you think it's going to be automatic bids? That was one of the comments I got on my video this morning was basically that the top 4 in the SEC are automatically going to get in. And that kind of takes out this whole, it's going to be real hard when you look at the schedule to go 10-2. It's going to be tough.
Well, you factor in the fact, like, do they go into a play-in route or do they go into, like, you know, making this, like, when it first came out a year and a half ago, they were talking about a pod system where you kind of have, like, you know, a metric system of 4 pods with, you know, 4 teams in each pod. And, like, how do they, you know, play that out? Like, do they have that to go forward of, like, okay, these are going to play in for the eventual SEC championship or going in for a playoff bid? Or, like, how is the SEC? Because if we know anything from the SEC and the Big Ten the last few years, they're trying to do anything as possible to get as many bids as they can. So, I mean, they also want it to be, you know, conference friendly for them having confidence in the postseason and everything else, but also taking this conference to the next level. I mean, I could see an auto bid thing from the best 4 teams, but then do you really want to be one of those best 2 teams if the SEC championship is still a thing? Like, where do you want to be out like in this format? We'll have to figure out as we kind of learn as we go in this day and age of the sport.
Dauber, don't you think the SEC championships, it's got to be going away? It has to be going away.
I would think so. I mean, what was it, Kiffin last year talking about, it didn't matter. And he actually, hoped that they kind of, or he was happy they didn't kind of back into it. It's an extra game, and it's an extra game to get beat up against, another top team in the country. So if the end result is the playoffs and playing for a national championship, are you really wanting that extra, 60 minutes of football to risk injuries, to wear your team down, and all that when that's not for all the marbles. It's bragging rights for the conference, but at the end of the day, a natty is, I think, more valuable to these universities, the athletic programs, and you can stand behind that a little bit more than a conference championship when you've really got probably more than two teams that are up there in your conference that could go and play in probably any of the other conferences.
Yeah, with more parity in college football, like Scoops mentioned, you look at the full schedule and it's like you might have made out all right in your 3 games, but no one's making it out alive, right? Really, like truly, not like it used to be, not like 12-0 going going to a short playoff and going in. But you know what? Like a lot of people look at that and go, "Oh man, well the games used to mean so much. You lose one game and you're out." But if you look at the product, I kind of look at it like boxing, right? How we went through that era in boxing, how like no one wanted to fight each other because everyone wanted to stay undefeated, right? But now we're starting to get people fighting more people, like the Canelo Crawford fight, people risking that. Oh, the entertainment, the product on the field will be a lot better that way for the fans. And with the parity, I think you're looking at a really, really physical league that's going to continue to get tighter and tighter. That's going to be more and more fun for the fans. It's going to matter how you lose at times and how you win at times. And I think every moment's going to keep mattering more and more, even though, it might not be that you got to keep that undefeated thing to make it. You sure as heck won't. And like you said, I think 2 games and it's almost going to be an auto bid in this conference. I mean, think about it. Like, that's crazy.
You think about like the future of the sport too. Like these are also 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. And like you're seeing to get up, get guys in their 24, 20, 25 still playing college football. Well, you're playing like more meaningful games. You're taking away those FCS opponents. You're playing smash mouth physical football. You're also talking about extending the season if you do go with that route with the 9-game and the college football playoffs that expands. So that makes me go back to the thought, like, do you increase the roster limit? Does this have that argument have more legs to increase the scholarship guys and give you more bodies, just like how an NFL roster goes through so many guys every single year because they have to with how physical the game is. These are also younger players. And do you, move to giving these guys an extra year of eligibility, just moving towards the 5 years and you're done and still have the redshirt thing, just because these guys are going to be playing this ball and the amount of talent on the field in these power conferences and stuff. Just overall, I'm interested to see what route they go and how it benefits the athletes while you're also trying to, complement rev share and everything else while also giving these guys their pay for play and however much they're worth per game. It's just going to make, with avoiding those, out of conference FCS games and you're playing straight, dogs for your opponents, that value goes up even more for these athletes.
Let me catch up with the chat real quick. I want to keep this conversation going. First, we got Wayne Gifton, a Talkin VAWLS membership. Shout out, Wayne. We appreciate you, brother. Also, effing nobody. He's an effing nobody, but he joined the channel. We appreciate that, Wayne, and we appreciate that effing nobody. We need 33 memberships, guys. 216 people watching. You can gift them. If you don't have a Power T beside your name, fix that. Hit the join button. It's only $1. Wade has done it for 46 months. He says, big game. Got to win this one for me. I can't live in Mississippi. If we lose, I'll never hear the end of it. I think Joey got ice in his veins, though. We got this one, boys. Look at State's run defense. Go Vols. Kenneth Gordon for 10 says door fee and $4.99 for you. Laugh out loud GBO. See, Scoops, I yelled at enough people. Now the door fees are going up. They're up to $10. Maybe I'll yell some more and we'll get an orange boy. Lee Honda for 2. Joey will be more annoyed than rattled by the bells. I bet Joey Aguilar doesn't even hear them. JP Carter for 5. I'm happy to not be playing Georgia every year. I think this new schedule can help us in the long run. Door fee, how is the house Boogie? The house is back together. We still got to fix some stuff outside of the house. But I don't want to talk about it. When it rains, it pours. My daughter, we just found out today her car's totaled. So just more expenses for Boogie. That's why we yell about door fees. So shout out JP Carter, and I appreciate you for asking. 1 foot in front of the other, my man. John Mills for 2. Let's bring back the beer barrel. Yeah, I'm all for that as well. Yeah, but it's not. We've had it the whole time.
Well, they just moved it from like outside of the like underground the stadium, and now it's also in the general suites, like out there in the west wing of the new stadium. They're actually showcasing it to the public now for the first time in I don't know how long. So
I was about to say
how onto the field is where it needs to be back.
I was going to say it needs to be brought to the Vol Club tailgate to chug beer out of. That's what I was thinking. But I mean. You know, like you gotta you get some elite level and you get to chug out of the beer barrel.
What are they gonna do though? Like if we just take it with us, right? And we're just like, you know what, y'all don't have to acknowledge it, but we want to, and we just take it with us. And if we win, we celebrate. And maybe if one out of every 100 years that Kentucky, gets in the win column, they can come celebrate, walk with it for a little bit, take your photo. It don't harm nobody.
They're not.
So we need to find a member of the channel that can make us our own beer barrel. And we can bring it to that game, and we could just totally ignore everybody and do what we want. It's America. We can do what we want.
Yeah, we need a Talkin Vols. Forget the championship belt. Let's trade that thing in for the beer barrel. I mean, that championship belt costs like $40 to ship to California. How much does a beer barrel cost? $500. I'm gonna have to pay a guy with a flatbed truck to drive it across the country. I'm sure that's cheap. JP Carter for another 5. People don't realize is every other year Tennessee will have one less home game. That's probably several $1 million lost in Knoxville's economy. There's a lot of layers to it, and I want to come back to those road games. Dauber, you got something there?
Yeah. However, JP, Danny White also said he wants to get away from the neutral site games. So one of those games every year, your Power 4, like this year against Syracuse, is going to be somewhere or somebody P4 school that you're going to play in Neyland one year and then go on the road to there. And he's going to try to balance that out the year you drop four conference games, have the home game opposite that.
God, let it be UCLA so I can go see games locally.
What?
Or USC so it's entertaining. Maybe the Trojans, so at least it's
every
semi-entertaining.
When you flip flop those years, one of those away games is going to be in Nashville, which we we take over, right. First Bank Stadium every single time we're in Nashville. So that one I feel like complements Tennessee pretty well. And just overall, we talk about the talent fee, we talk about the ticket prices, and as long as we don't get another increase here soon after this release, I mean, they're getting their money's worth for this home slate upcoming. Man, it's stacked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
JG80 for 5 says, "Hey, Boogie, decided we'll drink for $5 super chats or more and shotgun a beer for $100 super chat or more instead of drink." Okay, JG was in the chat last night while we were playing EA Sports College Football, and he said for every time somebody, it's a drinking game him and his buddies came up with, when you guys put GBO in the chat, they drink. I don't know. I didn't know that there were drinking games that existed because of Talkin Vols, but apparently there are. So now he is saying everybody that drops a 5, they're gonna take a drink. If you somebody drop a hundo, they're gonna shotgun a beer. It doesn't count unless I see it. So make sure you put it on Twitter. I need to see that. But that's a challenge for somebody to drop a hundo. Shout out JG80. We appreciate you. Ball Fan for Live for 2. I have a wooden liquor barrel. We'll get to painting.
Paint that sucker.
Ball Fan for Live. Get to painting. Jackie is here. What is up? My man drops an orange boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top.
Always good to see Jackie in the chat. It's good to see him back in the chat. We appreciate you, Jackie. He says, "Hey, Boogie and all Vol family, I'm going all in on our balls, taking down Cal U by a score of 35 24. Shout out, Jackie. We appreciate you, brother. Foul Ming has perked his ears up in the chat with the new drinking game. He'll partake too. Let's talk about let's go back to what Coach Jay was talking about and the excitement, the parody of college football, right? And me and Kaner talked about this on Monday. How much fun was last year in the SEC? Like every week you're watching so many games because anybody can beat anybody. And we're going to come back to the schedule and talk about that too. But something a lot of people aren't pointing out is what about the Big Ten? What about the Pac-12? Their schedules are not murderer's row like the SEC. How are you going to balance this out? You're going to let Ohio State play 1, 2, maybe 3 tough games all year, while some SEC teams are going to be going on the road and playing 5 conference games on the road, Coach? That's not parity in college football. That's a more difficult path for the SEC, but I think it's kind of been a more difficult path in the SEC for a while, but I think this makes it a little bit more tough. That's why when I say SEC road woes and people come at me on Twitter and say, oh, it's the same for everybody. Is it? It's not the same for Ohio State. It's not the same for USC. It's not the same for Penn State.
So, I mean, there's 2 ways to look at it, right? Like one, you're more prone to get injured, right? And so you're more likely to hobble in against someone like a sharpened Ohio State team like we saw last year. But at the same time, like the old ball coach in me, the defensive guy in me thinks, hey man, iron sharpens iron. The blood stays on the blade. Let's learn how to get tough. Let's learn how to get violent. And let's come out of this thing the biggest, baddest, toughest, most violent team there is. And let's win it and just have that championship mentality. So part of me wants to invite it. But that coach in you also knows injuries are a thing, man, and wear and tear is a real thing. So I actually think you'll see some kind of mixed bag of that the first few years. I think you'll see that those years where that SEC team rises up real tough and violent and takes care of business. And I think you'll see some years where they kind of hobble into it. You know, I think that was a little bit of the case for some teams last year, although I thought Ohio State had the best team at the end of the year, no matter what, too.
Of course, yeah.
2 things can be true.
But they had the best team, but Dauber, they didn't go through the gauntlet, right? Like how beat up would they had been, and what would their record be? What would their seeding be in the college football playoff if they were in the SEC?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the argument you have every year, you know, the ifs and buts. If we played your schedule, if you were in our conference, you know, Ohio State last year, you know, with their NIL, you know, it was, they were healthy. They were a buzzsaw, and they peaked at the right time. That Michigan loss at the end of the year really kind of forged them. And, you know, it's the same thing we've talked about over and over. You know, if we were put in a different spot, if the seating was a little different, how could our run, you know, gone? You know, if we hit that Boise State side, you know, it's one of those things. You're always going to have teams that have an easier path based on their season, but are they going to be as prepared? But vice versa, you know, like we just talked about injuries and you know, stacking those up and running through the gauntlet of a conference schedule like the SEC, you know, you're going to get your best from everybody week in and week out. And these road games are, you know, they're tough, but they build you and they make you into a team that can pass those tests. And I think that's why this Saturday is important, going down to Starkville and you know, kind of getting ahead of that narrative, getting that monkey off Tennessee's back, and you know, preparing yourself for postseason football.
Let's talk about the narrative. Let's talk about going on the road in the SEC. Let's use the words straight from Knox News Sentinel. Let's dispel the narrative that Josh Heupel struggles on the road. Scoops, you said, I don't buy into that narrative. I don't believe it. Shout out Adam Sparks, who I make fun of pretty much on a weekly basis every Monday morning right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. But this is a good article, and I talked about it this morning. Josh Heupel, Tennessee football is better on the road than most SEC teams, and we have proof. That was one of my things with the schedule. And I know I took it off the screen, but, you look at 2026, right? You're going to play 5 games at home. Then you're going to go on the road against Arkansas, South Carolina, Texas A&M, and Vanderbilt. That 26 is not that bad of a schedule for Tennessee. Yeah, you got to play Alabama. You got to play LSU. You got to play Texas. Those are all at home. But the odd years, 27, on the road to Alabama, on the road to Georgia, on the road to Oklahoma, Kentucky, Missouri, that is brutal. 29 on the road to Alabama, Florida, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, 5 road games. That is brutal. So when we talk about struggling on the road and SEC road woes, let's roll down here on this article from Knox News Sentinel, and let's look at the facts. Let's look at the truth. Somebody in the chat said that narrative is true. That's why it's a narrative. SEC road records since 2021, which conveniently is when Josh Heupel took over at Tennessee. Georgia at the top, 13-2. Alabama 10-6. Ole Miss 9-8. LSU 8-8. Tennessee's right there in the top 5, 7-9 on the road. And when you hear 7-9, Scoops, you go, well, that sucks. That's a terrible record on the road, but it's at the top, towards the top of the SEC. And Georgia and Alabama, you go back to 21. Well, Nick Saban was still there. Kirby Smart was dominant. I think we're seeing that parity. Georgia's not as dominant as they were. Bama clearly is not as dominant as they were. Pretty much everybody else in the SEC has a 500 record or worse on the road.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that goes to play to the fact that, going on the road in the SEC is just not easy, man. We're about to walk in this Saturday as a hornet's nest. Even at First Bank Stadium, like that, it can be a raucous environment on the right night, man. You have these big game matchups. You have a big school coming in. And that fan base is going to be fired up, ready to play, man. So, going on the road is not easy in the SEC, even though that 7-9 is not really appealing. When you look at, the rest of the conference, you're right up there where you need to be. And, you can probably point out, the sore thumbs. Like, when you really think about it, a lot of people, Columbus last year, 2022, South Carolina, you point out, like, the heartbreaking losses, man. But also what, like, you've been able to go out there and do on the road, and just where this conference is right now with 16 teams. It's only going to get even crazier, man. When we're on an even level, like, playing field now these days. It's only going to get even, like, 50-50. Those day and ages of, Nick Saban and Kirby Smart just going out there and obliterating the system. These SEC teams are pretty much almost equal at this point, man. It's only going to get better. So, going on the road, you take care of your home slate, and I feel like you kind of go out there and then you play with house money on the road. That's going to be able to, set you up for success in this new day and age.
So agreed. I agree with all that. I definitely agree with all that. But I do have a but. I don't think you can. Yeah, we all do. I don't like 13-2, right? Whatever, 10-6, right? Whatever, 9-8. Whatever. But if we were just to switch Tennessee to 9 wins, 7 losses. If you could place those two wins over those years you just mentioned, Boogie, I think you put Tennessee in pretty special places if you do that. And so, while I think it's unfair to paint a broad picture like Heupel's is huge failure on the road, I don't think that at all. To paint the picture of those are the next little inches we need to cross the next threshold to bring ourselves to a championship team, it is fair to say. And I think it's weird because it's like you talk about it, Boogie. Those last inches are the hardest to get to as a football team, right? Like when you're right under where you need to be, and Heupel brought us there so quickly that it's almost unfair to complain. But when you're so close to touching something too, you can't blame fans for wanting to reach out and touch that and want to fix that little issue so that we can get that extra hump and raise that damn trophy again, because that's what it's about. So yeah, I agree with everything Scoop said, and I agree with an unfair narrative. But dang it, I want to get greedy too. It's all I'm saying, guys. I want to get greedy too. And if we could just switch that a couple more games, man. Start to right that wrong this year. Not that it's a huge wrong, but just those little inches we need to get over the hump. And I think we can do it this year. I do.
I think what makes it, and by the way, I think Swain handled the whole, we're trying to take that next step to being elite, but we can strive for that and want that as fans, but while also remembering where we came from, like keeping a level head and not being over the top. And it's like, burn it to the ground, fire Tim Banks. Remember when everybody wanted to fire Joey Halsley last year because the offense sucked and it was his fault and Alex Golish was the reason that the offense was successful? Aren't you freaking glad that we didn't fire Joey Halsley as this offense is thriving this year? Like that's why we can't overreact to certain things. And when Swain said that, it's like, yeah, we want more. We want SEC championships. We want national championships, but that don't mean I forgot where we were at in 2021 when Josh Heupel took over. I think what makes it stand out, Dauber, so much is it's not just the road games. Like, I love Coach's point there of, man, if we could just take two of those and flip them. And it's like, well, give me South Carolina in 22, and now we're going to be in the playoff. Give me Missouri or give me, we can pick whatever game we want to pick. But I think Arkansas last year, right? You shouldn't have lost that game. That's what makes it sting so much. That's what forms the narrative. That's what's creating this mindset is, well, you shouldn't have lost to Arkansas. Missouri, I know people are going to yell at me again. I'm sorry. We were favored to win that game. I get it. It's a tough game. It was close. It was a field goal. It was a field goal spread. It's the way that game went down. It's the way the South Carolina game went down that makes those stand out, Dauber.
No, absolutely. Those three games, right or wrong, have really swayed the opinion of this narrative. And it's, you just showed the facts on the screen, but it's those three games that really mar the road record that Josh Heupel has established since 2021. I said it earlier. Last year, you win in Fayetteville. Your path does change. You may not see Ohio State until the championship game. And it's like I said, ifs and buts. But it's imperative to win your home games, win your out of conference games, and then. You go on the road and you pack your jock strap and your big boy pants and you play football. We've come so far from, wanting to just compete on Saturdays to there's really not a game on our schedule that this team can't win. They can play with anybody in the country. I feel. But it's a matter of execution. We've gone past, a couple mistakes that will break this Tennessee team. We can recover from mistakes when we make them. We've got to be consistent. And there's some things we still have to work on this year. The defense, we got to get some guys healthy, but the offense is clicking. They're going to score their points. And that's what we said, back with Hendo Cinco. Can the defense do enough to get it done? Well, are we healthy enough and can they, do that? So it's one of those things. Road games are huge, but they're always going to be tough in the SEC.
Let me hit a couple in the chat, then I want to come back and talk about injuries. That's the next topic on the agenda. John Mills for 5 says, my wife's family, 2 trips to Wisconsin 2 years in a row. Last year, NC State. I live in North Carolina. This year is this week at 3:30. Shout out, John. We appreciate the super chat. John Watts gifted 5 Talkin Vols memberships. We need 28 more. We need to keep this membership drive going. Get in where you fit in. You can gift them. If you don't have a Power T beside your name, they say that you are a Mississippi State fan. You can fix that. Hit the join button. It's only $1. We would appreciate it. I said at the top of the show last week we were going to give away a shirt if we got to 35. You guys did it. We're going to give away a shirt from bonfire.com/store/talkinvols to Tholta. Tathalta in the chat won that free merchandise, so make sure you hit me up on Facebook or Twitter. If you didn't win it and you want to grab something, again, bonfire.com/store/Talkin Vols. We got rivalry shirts, parody shirts. We got a VWO, because if you're talking Vols, you're talking Vols for life. If you're in the chat, look right here. If you're in the chat and you don't ever talk, you just sit there and you listen. You say, man, I love this show, but I don't ever want to talk. We got a shirt for you. It's a lurker shirt. You're a lurker in the chat. We appreciate you tuning in as well. We got rivalry shirts again. Beat Bama, beat Georgia, beat Florida, but we got a little bit more offensive shirts that say Buck Fama, FUGA. We got a Gator Hater shirt, whatever you want. Go check it out. Links in the description below. Get those memberships coming in, and we'll give away some more. Let's talk about injury reports. This came out, I think this was earlier today. Pete Nakos put out the injury report. Is it earlier today? Yeah, earlier today, Pete Nakos. Tennessee defensive lineman Jackson Moy expected to be available this weekend against Mississippi State, barring a setback. So this is huge, getting Jackson Moy back. The article goes on to say it's not just Jackson Moy. In the future, we're looking to get David Hobbs back for Arkansas. But, Scoops, the big news in this article is it's looking like we could have Jermod McCoy back for Arkansas as well. So when you go look at the schedule and you see where Arkansas falls, that is huge for Tennessee. Obviously, you would like to have them back going on the road against Mississippi State, but coming back for Arkansas, that means you're going to be geared up, ready to go for the road game against Bama, and obviously the road game against Florida as well. Oklahoma in Neyland Stadium. That was the big news for this article for me, is Jermod McCoy for Arkansas.
Yeah, the big one, obviously being Jermod McCoy. I was, curious to see if maybe he finds his way out there in Starkville this weekend, but now he has the bye week. He has, game week to get back in, obviously doing a lot more cutting, team-based things. The next level will be, contact, getting physical, getting, knocking that rust off and getting back on the field. I do think he's going to go out there. A lot of people have talked about maybe there's agents in his ear. You've seen the mock drafts come out. He's still a top, the number one corner, like a top 10 pick in the draft, I think, in the latest mock. So for him to come out there and be a gamer, want to come out here and play, man, to talk about what that would do for this defense, getting healthy at the right time, having two mocked first-round cornerbacks, each side, in Colton Hood and Jermod McCoy possibly, and you're still lacking Ricky Gibson, who maybe comes back if there's a playoff chance for Tennessee in the future. But that would be a huge one, man. Obviously, you want David Hobbs back. You want that pass rush back. That would be huge to have him for Arkansas. But man, getting Jackson Moy back for this game to complement, Dominic Bailey and Bryson Easton, those guys on the interior. Having that push and that veteran leadership that Moy brings, man, I think that's going to be huge just for this weekend. I wanted him to go for that Georgia game. He set out the last 2 weeks, but having him back this week, a veteran guy, you want those guys with experience, and I think that's going to complement our guys on the edge. And I truly think that if we can have more of a pass rush presence this week, I think the game's going to come down to the trenches. But I also think it will help, Colton Hood and Ty Redmond there on the corners, just because you have that pass rush, man. I think it's kind of been lacking. I think if we had a little bit more pass rush, some of these, maybe that Georgia game goes different, or maybe we have some more PBUs or interceptions. So excited to see that this week. But it's huge, man. It's huge for the trenches, and especially for an offensive line for Mississippi State that's also down some key guys as well.
Coach, you're muted. I forgot to plug the "you're muted" show.
I was like, dude, I haven't done it all day. I was all excited. Look,
hold on. You know what my favorite thing Coach does is he talks when he's muted, and then he unmutes himself and coughs because he thinks he's not muted. So he always unmutes himself to cough and then mutes himself back to sit there in silence all the time.
I've definitely got the infinite hypo COVID cough when I come on Talkin Vols.
Yeah,
somehow. So that's hilarious. But I'll take all the defensive line you can give me is the point, right? Like when you're thin, or not so much when you're thin, but when you can keep them fresh is more of what it is, because the offensive line, they don't rotate like that defensive line does. And when you can keep fresh, big bodies in there to keep their speed, to keep their hands, to keep their gap management, it gives you a real advantage. We've seen it on the field, and to be honest, we've just been thin there, so we've not been able to see those blows, and it's hurt us at times when we need to get larger. Maybe add an extra body. It would have probably helped against Georgia when they went large to go ahead and throw someone like Moy in there inside, a true tear inside, or David Hobbs too with speed who can move inside those positions, but's large enough to handle himself inside. You know, it's tough when you're missing that piece, and you guys are right on point. You know, it makes the cornerbacks' jobs that much easier when you can get pressure on that quarterback, and certainly when you can get pressure on them without having to commit linebacker, safeties, and cornerbacks to blitzes and things like that. So, you know, having Jermod McCoy and Colton Hood out there, you feel like you can put them out there on islands. You feel like you could let them play man and almost tempt the Tiger there and not get safety help up top. No disrespect to Ty Redmond. He's played nothing short of spectacular as a freshman, but he's still got some stuff to learn, and that's all right. Like he's still, dang man, I'm excited about that football player. He could end up being better than Hood or McCoy, and that's a big statement because those guys are going to be playing on Sunday. So I'm excited to see what he can do, but getting these guys back is huge. Mississippi State, they're going to want to take shots, so we're going to need that safety help in this game. So we need to be able to get A-gap pressure, and Moy is great at that. Really quick hands inside. Really good footwork and quick steps through that three-tech.
Dauber, anything to add on the injuries? Actually, just how much better can this defense be if you do get Jackson Moy back, David Hobbs back, Jermod McCoy back? Because when you look statistically, and I get it, like stats don't always tell the full story, but the bottom line is we played Syracuse, ETSU, and UAB. And then, of course, a really good Georgia team. You're 99th in the country in scoring defense. You're 85th in the country in total defense. You're 124th. What is there, 134 teams? 124th in passing defense. Dauber, that's not just bad. That flat out sucks. That's horrendous. Horrendous when you played ETSU and you played UAB. Two awful teams. They're as bad as Tennessee's stats are right now. Can it be as simple as getting Jackson Moy, David Hobbs, and Jermod McCoy back?
Absolutely. I think it is. You get some guys back healthy. Coach Jay said you get some more pressure on the quarterback. And it helps that back end of the defense. You know, you go back the last two games, Stockton for Georgia and then Kidna at UAB, they threw it around. They had time, and you give a good quarterback time. I mean, you saw that Saturday with Kidna. You give him time and a clean pocket. I mean, it's you could about have anybody out there. You can only cover somebody for so long. So it's everybody's got to do their part, and you know, you've got to get home. You got to get pressure with you know the defensive line, and you know, I think we've had to bring it from the second level, from the linebackers. To kind of help that. And we saw that a couple years ago, you know, but we had guys on the back end that could, you know, stand out there and be on an island and guard somebody. It's just, it's complimentary football. And I know I'm not trying to sound like I know more than I do, but everybody's got to play their part. And I mean, Coach Jay could speak to the
Amen.
the defense part of it.
Yeah.
But you want to be at full strength, and to get some guys back like Moy, Hobbs, guys that are going to get after the quarterback, and then, you know, plug the holes, get in the passing lanes. It's not even about getting a sack. You know, it's a pressure. It's you know, getting him uncomfortable in his drop back.
I think it's asking less of Easton and Bailey, right?
Oh,
Like, right on cue. Wayne puts it in the chat. Can't play Easton and Bailey 80 to 90 snaps. Like look at UAB. How many less snaps they played because it's UAB. But when it was Georgia, Scoops, and you knew, like, you weren't playing Jamal Wallace. You weren't playing some of these other guys. You knew it had to be Don Bailey and Bryson Easton, and that's why at the end of the game they're laying on the field because they truly gave their all for Tennessee. And that's a big part of why you need Jackson Moy and David Hobbs back, so you can get that rotation back where it needs to be.
Oh no, yeah, we got to get back to 100%. Like we got to get back to where we have dogs that'll hunt, and you know how we rotate our guys, man. Rodney and Coach Ayers over there, they're getting these guys in and out of practice, so they're definitely getting that cardio up, and we got to go see them be on the field. You want your guys at 100%, and they go out there and put your best defense on the field. But the biggest thing besides obviously having to play your ones like all day against Georgia, when you're seeing against UAB, you're seeing against ETSU, you saw it against Syracuse really early, like. The guys on the field, man, Marion Dye, Isaiah Campbell, Ethan Nutley, these injuries have kind of opened up opportunities for guys. And you've also heard the staff be really vocal that we got to go find guys that can contribute as well, whether that's on the defensive line, whether that's, Caleb Beasley having to punch out, whether that's, Boo Carter, who's going to have an expanded role this Saturday, who has to be a playmaker for the Vols again. Like this weekend is his game again in Starkville. But just that, man, like even Coach Inge being like, we need Jaden Hardman to be that guy. And I think that's kind of opened up just, having those injuries, letting these guys get experience. And now you get healthy, you get past Mississippi State, you get McCoy back and Hobbs back for Arkansas. And you talk about firing on all cylinders. If you can go out there and have an offensive performance this week in Starkville, like we've seen, block out the cowbells and go out there and have an improvement on defense, man, I think we're going to be coming next Wednesday fired up about what this team can be when they're healthy, after a bye week, because Josh Heupel after a bye week gets notoriously better. And what we've seen right now might not even be, a picture of what we're going to see later in this season.
Well, let's jump into it and let's start talking about Mississippi State a little bit. We'll break them down and then we're going to go in and make our predictions. Right now we got 240 people watching live, 240. We got a membership drive going on. We got a lot of work to do, boys. We got a lot of work to do if we're going to get this membership taken care of. We need 28 new members. Now, you can gift them. You can give 5 memberships, 10 memberships, 20 memberships. If you don't have a Power T beside your name, hit the join button down below. Why would I do that? Boogie, I ain't paying you a cent. Well, it's only $1 a month. It keeps the lights on. We don't get to do this without your support. It's the only reason that the Monday morning show exists, the Friday morning show exists. It's why we get to bring you content every single day. It's not without your support. So we appreciate all the members. If you're not a member, hit that join button, or you can gift some as well. Ty pointed out, hit the like button. If you don't want to give a penny, that's fine. Hit the like button. It's free. 108 likes right now. 108 likes. We got 241 people watching. Hit the thumbs up. We would appreciate it. Let's jump into it. Let's talk a little Mississippi State. Coming up Saturday, 4:15 kick, Starkville. We're going to start. We're going on the road. You look at Mississippi State, 4-0. They're undefeated right now, but the body of work has not been that impressive. They went on the road to Southern Miss. They won 34-17. They did beat number 12 at the time, Arizona State. You can argue whether or not Arizona State belonged there, but 24-20. Alcorn State 63-0, and a win over Northern Illinois 38-10. They played sloppy in that game against Northern Illinois. Only led 14 points at the half, but then they scored 24 unanswered in the second half, ended up winning 38-10. They ran the football for almost 300 yards. Again, it's Josh Heupel and Jeff Lebby going to get back together here. Similar style of offense. ESPN FPI heavily favors Tennessee, 73%. Vegas started at 13.5. It's down under a touchdown as of right now. Tennessee 30-16-1. all-time against Mississippi State. I think they've won 8 of the last 10, I said at the top of the show. Got quarterback Blake Shapen, transferred from Baylor to Mississippi State, got injured in week 4 last season, started pretty hot. But he's a guy that completes 67% of his passes, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. For me, I agree with Scoops. I think it's going to be a line of scrimmage game. I think that's going to be key, not only running the football, but also can you get pressure on Blake Shapen and force him to make a mistake, because I think turnovers also going to be key in this game. But, Coach, what do you see in Mississippi State? How do you see this game going down on Saturday? Don't give me your prediction yet, and hit that unmute button.
I was on it.
Perfect.
There you go. We got it. I'll try to talk about it from the side I know the best. Yeah, I agree. I think both teams are going to want to establish the run, and both teams will think they can, spread you out and run at you like they do. I think Lebby still, though. I mean, he's going to be Lebby. He's going to try to pick his spots. He's going to run lots of crossing routes, a lot of picks off crossing routes, wheel routes. Combination routes and route trees. So you'll see the gambit through them. they're going to take their shots. They've got speed at the wide receiver position. They've got a true burner out there, and if you don't think that Levy is going to try to mix that matchup and put him on our freshman, you are sorely mistaken. You will 100% see that on Saturday, and it has to be on our defensive coordinator's mind. With that said, how can we disrupt that? Like Dauber was alluding to and Scoops was alluding to, how can we stop that? Well, think back to the Georgia game. Think if we had safety help on the plays where Redmond was getting beat, right? Like, and because he was getting beat by inches, he gets a little help. Those balls might be picks, quite honestly, with you, where a safety would be positioned. The corner one probably would have just been batted or something or not been picked. But the other two balls, you just take those plays away. I mean, you're talking big hit, game deciding type plays right there. That's huge. I think you're going to see both of these teams move the ball with success. I think Tennessee is going to be more successful at getting pressure when it matters. I think that pressure is going to cause two big plays, which I think is going to be enough to kind of swing momentum in this one. I don't know if we're giving final scores right now, but I like them to win by over 10. Let's put it that way. It's not that I think it's going to be a drubbing kind of a game, but I think it's going to be the type of thing where we pull away late and we can kind of score as we want. There's a lot of running legs when we look at the offensive side. Like when you watch that Arizona State game versus them and some other games, there are huge. I think Star Thomas could break out and just have a gigantic game. There is just a lot of cutback lanes against this defense and the way they play it. If Tennessee can control the ground game, like really, really control the run game and stop their run, then you're looking at a situation where this could possibly get ugly. And that's roughly how I see it, I guess.
Let me hit a couple in the chat. Yeah, I'm just getting everybody's kind of opening thoughts on Mississippi State. Then we'll come back and do our predictions. Jim Slagle for 2 says midweek Dorfy under 400 yards offense, please. Yeah, let's see this defense take a step. We appreciate the Dorfy. Jim, Justin Goforth for 5. It's so nice to have our DBs on point again. Let's freaking go, boys. Thank you, Justin. We appreciate you. Patrick Killian gifted a Talkin Vols membership, and also Wayne Starnes gifted a Talkin Vols membership. We appreciate that, Patrick. We appreciate that, Wayne. We need 26 memberships. I don't think we're going to do it tonight. I'm doubting you guys. I don't believe in you guys. I don't think we're going to get it done. 26 memberships before the end of the show. We'll give away some more merch. Dauber, what do you think about Mississippi State? How do you see this game going?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Levy is similar in offensive identity as Heupel. You know, been with Heupel before. He's wanting to exploit mismatches and then kind of go tempo and you know, use that to bounce off each other, set things up. But like Coach Jay alluded to, that was one of the things in looking at Mississippi State, their speed at wide receiver. And that's going to be something that we have to combat. We have to account for. You know, we saw Georgia take advantage of that. And you know, we saw UAB at times take advantage of that. So that's something that I think Banks, given the way that the last 2 games have gone and how some chunk plays have been hit by the opposing offenses, I think that is going to be addressed. Can we stop that? Can we limit that? You know, I think getting Moy back, you know, getting some more pressure up front, those type of things that we've discussed already, that's going to help that. But to me, it is going to come down to, I think, running the ball. And I think that is going to set it up for Joey and our offense to, you know, do, like I said, allow Heupel to exploit the mismatches, to find those gaps, and for us to get the chunk plays. I like our offense a lot better than Mississippi State's offense. And I think at the end of the day, even though it's on the road, I think it's going to go Tennessee's way. I do think the game. I don't know if it gets up. What'd you say? 10? You said past 10, Coach Jay? You're on mute.
He's always muted, man.
Just a slight I do. Just a hair.
Man, y'all a bunch of cowards. Y'all a bunch of cowards. I'm going first with my prediction after Scoops talks about this game.
All right, yeah, man. I mean, you got the history with Levy and Heupel. Levy was basically Joey Halsey before Joey Halsey was Joey Halsey. He was probably further down in the tree then, but yeah, he was basically Heupel's eyes there at UCF. Got the opportunity to go to Ole Miss there, and I think when Heupel left UCF to come here, a lot of those players wanted Levy back at UCF. That's just how good of a coach and a player's guy that he is, man. So what he's been able to do in this short amount of time right now, they're far ahead in year 2 than they were in year 1. They've been attacking the portal, and this is a better team than we saw down there at Mississippi State. Yeah, you look at Blake Shapen. He's been, lights out. You got Brennan Thompson out there. I think him and Anthony Evans are 2 top 10 wide receivers in the conference right now. And you still got Fluff Boswell, who is like just a powerhouse running back who can give you some trouble. But I mean, Tennessee, I think having the push in the trenches, I feel better about having our defensive line with Moy being back. I think some experience last week was critical. A lot of those stats were kind of skewed based off which talent on Tennessee that we saw in the game, in the second half. So excited to see this team in a full 60-minute game outside of Georgia. But I go back to the trenches, man. I think Tennessee has a chance to run all over them. I think our offensive line is the best unit on this team so far, and they've been so improved with all the offseason talk. And we still don't even have David Sanders back yet, who might be available for this game, but we still don't know. He's still day to day. But I had a stat, man. When Tennessee, we saw the running backs, all find their way into the end zone, whether it's Peyton Lewis, Deshaun Bishop, or Star Thomas. When Tennessee has 3 touchdowns rushing, we are 24-0 under Josh Heupel. And I have a hard time thinking that we're not going to be able to run all over these guys, but I also think that it's going to compliment Joey to have him be able to open it up and throw the football really well. But I think we're going to be talking about, what Star Thomas and Deshaun Bishop were able to do. And maybe we even have, a big game for those guys receiving as well, man. I think the running game is going to be huge. I think just overall being able to have that smash mouth effect, I think it's going to be back and forth for a little bit. But I think overall our experience, our talent, our depth is going to, get us over the hump in the end, man. I think this defense is going to make some stops and get the ball back for our offense. I got Tennessee by a couple scores, maybe 2 or 3.
We got a couple. We got a couple in the chat here. Sean Cross for 2 says Vols lose in a close one, 61-60 on a last-second shot. I guess if we're talking about basketball, is that what we're talking about, Sean? Is it basketball? Last-second shot. It's going to be a walk-off. It's going to be a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 12th inning, according to Sean Cross. O'Brady for 10. We appreciate the super chat. Says Vols 41-24. Vols get 5+ sacks. Redmond gets his 2nd pick of the season. I like that prediction, and it's pretty close. It's actually so close to mine that listening to Scoops rattle off numbers, I almost added a field goal to mine, and it would have been all over that. Alpha Man 06 becomes a member of the channel. Shout out Alpha Man. See, now I lost my notes. I can't keep track of how many memberships we need. We need 25. I don't think we're going to get there before the end of these predictions, but we're still going to put on a good old Butch Jones 63 effort. Put your score predictions in the chat. All right, give me your keys to the game. Give me your final official score prediction. For me, like, it's a Jeff Lebby football team. It doesn't surprise me that they score almost 40 points a game. And I get it. The level of competition isn't really there. But when you look at Tennessee, it's not really there either. Outside of Georgia, we've not really played anybody. I get it. Syracuse beat Clemson. Does anybody really care? No, I don't really think they care. What surprises me about this Jeff Lebby coach football team is you look back. Like, again, Jeff Lebby, you think offense, but you look back to last year, their defense was atrocious. It was awful. It was ranked 118th in the country in scoring defense, giving up over 34 points a game. Through 4 games, they're giving up 11.75 points a game. That's 16th in the country, much improved on defense. I think it's crucial for Tennessee to start fast. They're going to have their stupid cowbells out. They're going to be making noise. Like Scoop said at the top of the show, it doesn't matter. You go on the road in SEC play, it's going to be a hostile environment. But I think it's a line of scrimmage game. Blake Shaven has been sacked 6 times this season against inferior opponents. That's not horrible, but it's not great. That's tied for 52nd in the country. Tennessee has 15 sacks on the season. It doesn't seem like they're getting home that much. That's tied for 6th in the country, led by Josh Josephs. He's got 3. Nathan Robinson, Caleb Herring, Jalen McMurray all have 1.5. Can Tennessee get after Blake Shaven? If they don't get home, can they pressure him enough? On the other side of that, Mississippi State's only gotten home 5 times. We know what Glenn Ellerby's offensive line has done, right? 2 sacks on the record books. I don't count either one of them. A fumbled snap and backups, right? Backups. Jake Merklinger took a sack. This starting offensive line has protected Joey Aguilar, and when there is pressure, he gets out of the pocket, eyes downfield, makes plays. Love Joey in that. But it's not just about protecting the quarterback and getting after the quarterback. It is about running the football. Both these teams run for over 200 yards a game. I think Tennessee has the opportunity to do exactly what Scoops said, and Scoops is making me want to add points to my prediction because I see Star Thomas getting in the end zone. I see Deshaun Bishop getting in the end zone, and then I see a little play action. Whoop! Chris Braswell over the top, touchdown, give him 6. I like the Vols in this, Coach. I told you a week ago. I said the Vols are going to be favored by 2 touchdowns. You said, Boogie, that's a little too high. Boogie still believes 2 touchdowns. Tennessee 38, Mississippi State 24. Vols roll. We get the boys back for Arkansas, and we are off to the races, and we are going to the SEC championship. You heard it here first, Coach. Give me your score prediction.
I like it. I like it. Like you said, man, defense, limit big plays, pressure. Like you said on that D-line, active linebackers, they're going to test our linebackers, like I said, through crossing routes, picks, things like this inside, whip routes. They're going to test those linebackers down low and take shots up top. So that's how you tighten that up. Offense, I'm with you, Boogie. Run the dang ball. Get Star Thomas involved. They're susceptible to the play action pass. I think, and they like to play man too on the outside. They love to play man on the outside, and I think they're kind of licking their chops at that. We'll see if they hold to that in this game or if they bring safety help. I like Tennessee. I like Tennessee a lot. I got them winning 39-24 in
That's
this
a score.
game. But I've got like a late touchdown out of them. I think we put it away mid-third, something like that. And then you see a little fight back at the end, but it's already over.
Are you worried? I should have mentioned this earlier and didn't, but I'm going to derail and go back because I want your opinion. Are you worried about Brennan Thompson? He's got 17 catches, 291 yards, 3 touchdowns, transferred from Oklahoma. Elite speed. You yelled and screamed and did everything but cuss in the Georgia postgame show about not giving help from the safety position. You better help out over the top because that dude's got track speed.
You better help out on over the top, and you when you can if they try to sneak him inside too. Boo's got to come down and take care of that. Just like with Zachariah, like in the Georgia game, I was yelling about, not after the game, Boogie. I think I was yelling about it before the game, if you recall. Like, I'd be sorry. Like, I love Tim Banks, and he's probably knows eons more football than me, but I'd be gosh danged if my football team would have walked in there and we wouldn't have had that matched up the way I wanted to when we played Georgia that day. Anyway,
you heard it here first. Coach is going to put the belt on the line against Tim Banks during the bye week, right here.
Yeah,
on the Talkin VAWLS
I'm
Network.
losing my belt that night probably, but that's all right. That's all right. I'll challenge him on that one topic.
Hey, there's a 0% chance you lose. The chat votes. They vote on the winner.
True.
No way
That's
they're voting
true.
for Tim Banks in that breakdown.
Yeah.
I'm with Wayne there, man, about Boo and Farouk, and I think with how Boo ended that UAB game and how his stock this week, I think it's going to be huge. He's definitely going to be needed. Farouk, Boo, turn time, we're going to need all those guys, and even something we didn't mention, man. If we see Boo in special teams, you have to be locked in on the road on that environment. Mistakes are critical on special teams, so you got to be locked in there. And we talked about Mississippi State possibly going across the middle against us. I want to see Tennessee test Mississippi State's linebackers. Can I give you all a familiar name? Jalen Smith, former Tennessee linebacker, playing for the Bulldogs there. I think this staff knows him best, so I'm excited to see about that. And, we're excited to see about what Joey Aguilar does and what this running back room does. But we went all show, I think, without talking about the most important player in this game, and that's going to be Samuel Pendleton. The thing that bothers Tennessee on the road so much, man, is the communication, the errors, setting us back, false starts. A lot of those games on the road, when we talk about those road losses that Tennessee had, we didn't have center play, our offensive line and everything, the mistakes, we were shooting ourselves in the foot, man. Like, it just looked awful without Cooper Mays behind there, and just, the limitations you had with Nico at quarterback. So I think right now, I feel the best I do. I think Joey's going to be Joey Cool. I think Pendleton has a chance to be cool, calm, and collected, man. If we can go out there and play mistake-free, I got Tennessee winning big. I got 45 Vols, Bulldogs 27.
I like it. You almost had me convinced to go 41-24. You almost had me add a field goal. Let me hit a couple in the chat real quick, then we'll get Dauber's prediction. Tennessee Tonto for 2 says 45-30 Vols. Shout out Tonto. We appreciate you, brother. Gun Fighting Smokey Bear for 2. Dorothy, sorry I am late to the show. It's all right. Go back, rewind, catch the replay. And I also want Carlos in the chat. Carlos, I know you've been putting in the chat about Josh Heupel's road record. I know you popped in a little bit late too. I encourage you go back and rewind because I had that same narrative. Maybe we can change your mind earlier in the show. Make sure you catch the replay. Gunfight and Smokey Bear for another 2. Thoughts of maybe Tim Banks to Oklahoma State? I don't see it. I think it's going to be a smaller job. I do think Tim Banks is likely gone this year. Maybe not. We'll see.
I don't know though. Like these SEC DCs, man, they get paid more than to go to another school. They get to recruit. They don't have all that stress on them. And I mean, I just don't see Oklahoma State. He's a guy. Tim Banks is a guy. Illinois, Pennsylvania, up north, maybe here in the mid, southeast now. But I don't see him leaving for an Oklahoma State job. But I mean, even then, man, sometimes you stay and put where you are. The grass is greener where you are.
I think he can wait.
Fair.
Till he gets the job that he wants, right? Yeah. But I do think he wants to ultimately be a head coach, and eventually you're going to have to step out and take whatever opportunity you get. Dauber, tie a big fat bow on this Wednesday edition of Talking Balls. Get us your prediction.
All right, I was thinking it might be a little bit of a nail biter, a little close.
Oh, okay.
And I was kind of leaning 35-24. But y'all got me fired up.
Wait. You drinking that orange Dauber? Let me get a little bit worse,
baby. All I know is go Vols, because that's all I know. Go Vols.
So
drink you some of that.
I am. I'm a little fired up. I tell you, I think the defense is going to cause some turnovers. I think we break through. I think special teams is going to get a score. And I said earlier, the offense, they're clicking. I think you are going to have a big game on the ground from one, if not maybe 2 of the guys in the stable there. And then, Joey's he's going to be Joey. I think what we've seen is what we have. He's going to be composed. He's going to run this offense efficiently. And I think at the end of the day, Tennessee's just too much for Mississippi State. I do think it will be close early, and then we pull away big. I'm going to go 42-24, and I think we just run away with it at the end, late in the game.
Man, I hope Tennessee puts their foot on the gas early, and they've done that all year. I had it in my notes at one point what their first quarter – they've only given up, 7 points in the first quarter all year. I think if you put your foot on the gas, Mississippi State's going to fold. We'll see what happens. I think Tennessee wins this football game, and we roll on, get some guys healthy for Arkansas, Alabama. Why not? Why not us? Why not now? Let's go get a rematch with Georgia in the SEC championship game. We appreciate you guys tuning in on this Wednesday night. Coach is going to be in the booth. Coach got some work to do this weekend. Okay. So Foul Ming will be in the house. Me and Foul are going to do the Friday morning show. Tune in for that. We'll be sipping on some grade A grounds coffee, getting you guys ready. We got the gambling segment still coming to you on Friday morning. We'll be live an hour before kick on Saturday and then immediately following the game as always. So get in where you fit in.
Catching them. Tell Foul I'm catching them. I think I'm like one game behind now.
We got to determine those rules. What did we decide that you get 4
I win
points?
them all. Well, I don't remember.
We screwed you Friday morning. You're like, I either get all points or none, and it's like Falming's like, oh, okay, idiot.
But
like,
I won them all. So I get
right,
all
but you deserve more than 3 points for that. Like
Yeah.
that's the whole point
4,
of that.
I thought we just
is
decided
that what
on
we
4.
agreed on 100%?
Yeah, and
okay.
I don't know if that makes us tied or me down 1, but
Falming said he went 2
close,
for 3, so you should have gained 2 points on him. I can scroll up here and look. It's right here in my
I
notes.
think he was he up by 2 or 3 points?
He was up by 3, so
Okay,
you should
so
be
he's
down
1
1
up.
now. Yeah, you
I'm
should
down
be,
1.
Yeah. That was a big one. Fal says give him 4. Give him 4. All right, Fal. That's what happens when you're nice. You let coach take advantage of you.
The plot thickens.
What are you saying, Scoops?
I was just gonna say let's get a W in Starkville, and then maybe if perchance after we'll get some biscuits and gravy.
Ooh.
Okay.
Some gravy.
Have you seen the flyer?
Bacon or sausage? Bacon.
No, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Y'all
but I do.
the
fat kid in me loves some biscuits and gravy, so I just got naturally excited.
Y'all haven't seen the activity out post game in Starkville?
No.
Well, apparently there's some wrestling. I don't know the establishment, no free publicity, but if you want the address, hit me up. Biscuits and gravy wrestling, like drenched in biscuits and gravy, literally after the game, like at some club called the Pony.
Coach Jay went from excited
to a
little. Yeah, wait. Did Falming set this up?
Yeah, it's like wait.
We're gonna win, and then we're gonna go to biscuits and gravy wrestling.
That sounds definitely like a Falming thing. Definitely. What is happening? I was trying to wrap the show and we're talking about biscuits and gravy.
All right, we better
wrestling.
Go. We better go.
We drink way too much pineapple mango Lipton tea on Wednesday nights. All right. We're out the door. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. If you haven't smashed the thumbs up, do it. If we almost convinced you to join the channel, do it. This show does not exist without your support. We say for the fans, by the fans all the time. It's also fan funded. We don't pay the bills by ad revenue or any of that nonsense. It's all your hard earned money that you donate to this channel that keeps it afloat. So we are grateful to every single one of you. But for Coach, for Scoops, for Dauber, my name's Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
The